Welcome, one and all, to another edition of Stogie411. I'm here with my partner in crime, Mr. Michael Williams. How you doing today, Mike?
What's up, brother? I'm doing great. Another Saturday afternoon hanging out with my friend and the fine folks we have in the chat room. And some of you are probably surprised if you subscribe to us. You probably realize we were supposed to have a guest today. But unfortunately, we were supposed to have Michael Herclocks from Nat Sherman on, and unfortunately, he got called away to Padrone's anniversary party. It wasn't his fault. It was last minute. We tried to work it out, but unfortunately, we couldn't clash together. So we are going to reschedule. Michael probably won't be till next year, but no hard feelings. So we've been having such a great response with this You Ask It show.
Huge response.
And unbelievable. I want to thank everybody for sending in questions. So it kind of works out. So in reality, our next two shows are going to be another You Ask It show because it seems to be popular and everybody likes it. So we're going to continue to do it, and that's what we're doing today.
We figured,
so
rather than us trying to run around like chickens with our heads cut off, trying to get another guest to fill in real quick. We have tons and tons of questions, and we already had the You Ask It scheduled for next show, so we figured why not? I mean, we have plenty of questions.
Yes, we do. We got a boatload. So with that in mind, we're going to kick it off. If you got any questions in the chat room, go ahead and ask. We'll do our best to give you our honest opinion, and yeah, that'll be it. So let's kick it off.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to start off here with question number 1, and this is from Bill. It says, why don't you guys review a cigar while your guest is on if it's a manufacturer?
Well, let's see. Stogie411, because at the time I was still reviewing cigars over at Mike Stogie's, and Mike's reviews cigars over at Stogie Review. So we decided that we weren't going to do that. We wanted to do something totally different. We wanted to get away from that whole reviewing crap and all the pains and aches that come with it. That's really the main reason we don't do it. I know we've tossed it around before. We had people we tossed the question around about doing it, but at this present time, I'm no longer reviewing cigars, but Mike still is. If at the point Mike never is reviewing cigars, maybe we would do it over here. I don't know. We haven't really thought about it. I mean, but that's really the main reason, right? I mean, unless you can think of any other reason. And the only other thing is
sometimes, we do an hour show. We would almost have to increase the show length to like 2 hours to make sure that we would be able to smoke, to do a real review, to smoke the whole cigar, do the pre-light, do everything, with reviewing it. I mean, we could give a short snippet of what we smoked so far, but some of the cigars we smoke, hell, we might only be halfway through it, after the hour. And that could be another reason too, that. But yeah, Mike hit it right on the head there. That's what we decided when we first started this, because we were both reviewing, and it's I don't know. I think it's more relaxing, without having to do the review in it. We can pay attention to the guests, to our great fans, and we don't have to try to focus on the cigar we're smoking to get every little detail and nuance out of it. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's definitely more relaxing and enjoyable this way. I mean, we've had manufacturers on, and we were smoking a cigar that maybe they sent us. I mean, I know it's happened, and they asked us what we thought of it. So I mean, sometimes we sit at. But speaking of reviewing cigars, and speaking of that, why don't you tell everybody what you're smoking? I'm smoking. I was sent this by Nat Sherman. I don't know if you could see it.
It's not focusing.
It's the EPOCA, the EPOCA. I just got this in. I'm about midway, so I want to thank Nat Sherman, Mike Herclocks, and them for sending us some samples of some of their cigars. That was nice. What are you smoking,
I am smoking an unbanded right now, which is really weird. This is actually the H. Upmann, the Banker. I was talking with Dave, one of the part owners here at the shop, and he said they've been selling really well, and I figured I'd give it a shot. And I showed Mike before we went live. It's kind of weird. It has a footband on and that big white piece in the middle. I don't know if I still have it here in my pocket or not. But then the regular band. Well, you take the footband off. Yeah, here, I crumpled it up, but I took the footband off thinking that that whole big white piece would come off, and it doesn't. It's actually stuck to the regular band where everything comes off. It's just kind of weird how that is. Yeah,
it's different.
So then you're left with a cigar with no band. So
yeah, it's definitely different. Cool. So that's what we're smoking. So like I said, if you're in the chat room, you got any questions? I know John G's in the chat room. He sent us a question. We have that. We're going to ask that today. We should be able to get to all of these questions. So, but we're not going to keep you guys here too long today. But let's go to our second question. Joe's got a question. He says, "What does it mean when a manufacturer refers to primings?" So,
and Mike has a huge in-depth thing that he found.
I do. I found this on the internet because there's a lot of different primings, and I don't know everything, but I want to make sure we give you accurate information. So I went onto the website and I found the autonomy of a tobacco plant, and basically what it says. And I don't know if this refers to every tobacco plant, but according to this, there's several different primings. The bottom is called sand leaves. I'm not going to pronounce the Spanish names. Don't even friggin' think that's going to happen, because I am effing horrible at that. So the bottom's called sand leaves, which is the closest to the soil. Your first priming, I'm going to try this. The first priming says Libra Pi. That's pretty easy. I can't screw that up. Your second priming says 1.5. Third priming is Centro Baja. Fourth priming is Centro Medeo. Fifth priming is Central Alto, and your sixth priming is Corona. Now, within those priming, there's different tobaccos. According to this website, and I'm going off the autonomy of a tobacco plant, so don't sue me. I'm just going off of this. So the bottom where the sand leaf priming is called the cleanup, or the bote. And then from there, when you get to the first priming into just about the second priming, that's where you get about 10% of your volado tobacco. From your third priming to about your fifth priming is where you're getting 50% of your Seco tobacco. And then when you get up from your fifth up to your sixth priming, that's where your 40% of your Ligero tobacco comes from. So hopefully that answers your question. If you want, Joe, you can go to cigarmagazine.net. That's where I found this. You can see what they're talking about. So basically, there's about 6 primings on a tobacco plant. Configured between Ligero, Seco,
and the primings are just different levels of leaves.
Exactly, different levels of leaves from the closest to the soil up to the one that's getting the most sun. So hopefully, Joe, that answers your question. Again, like I said, go to cigarmagazine.net. That's where I found it. It was pretty in depth. There's a whole bunch more on there, but that's basically what your primings represent. So. You got anything you want to add?
No, I mean that's the primings are just like I said, the different levels of the leaves in the plant, and we could go into like the wrappers with the Connecticut shade wrappers and the sun-grown wrappers and all that kind of stuff. But for just the primings, I mean, I think that website is just amazing. With the information that they have there, that gives you a nice, solid understanding, hopefully, of what they actually are. Oh, relight.
Relight, I almost burnt my fucking eyes off. Wow. Holy shit.
All right. Let's go to number 3. This one could be interesting. Steve asks, what's your position on the whole smoking ban? I know it's been in effect for a while. And okay. It's hard to answer that because it depends on what smoking ban you're talking about, for me anyway. Different states have different levels of what they banned. Now, if you're in a state where they ban smoking in a cigar shop, they're just a bunch of morons, and every single one of those elected officials should be knocked out because they're idiots. If you go into a cigar shop and you want to complain about smelling cigar smoke, you're a moron. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, you're a total idiot. You can't expect, like, if you go into a restaurant, do you complain that you smell food cooking? It's, and then some of the places have bans what you can't smoke in, like, public parks or public areas, and, it's getting ridiculous on where all the bans are being associated. So, what's my position on it? Well, I think you just heard it there. I mean, I think it actually sucks if you're banned from smoking inside of a cigar shop. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. I mean, literally. And, parks and places like that, I can understand it to a point. If you're going to have a lot of kids around, I do think that there shouldn't be any smoking. I'm just because the kids don't have a choice right at that point in their life. But if you have a designated area where you can smoke, what's wrong with that? You don't want to smoke, you don't go near that area. Deal with it. I don't know. You're in lovely New York, so.
Well, I'll say this to you. As a cigar smoker and someone who enjoys it, I don't have a problem with no smoking in a restaurant. I don't have a problem with that. I want to enjoy my food, whether I enjoy cigars or not. I don't want smoke around my food. I know here in upstate New York in Saratoga, there's a place called the Wine Bar, and they have, and I'm guessing on this from what I've heard, they have a filtration system. They have a restaurant, but they also have a bar where you can smoke cigars still. It's grandfathered in. You can smoke in there. But they got grandfathered in from what I was told, and again, this is rumors, what I heard, that they have a filtration system that's worth like $54,000, that the minute the smoke exhales from the cigar or from your mouth, it's gone. It's in the air. It's instantly gone.
Damn.
How true, I don't know. I've been there. I've never smelled smoke. I've never had it. But I personally, on the band, I don't have a problem with it not being in restaurants, but I do have a problem with if I'm walking through a park with my wife, or if I'm, and I'm talking a park. I'm talking like, let's say New York City, Central Park, okay? I'm walking through a park. It's wide open. I should be able to smoke a cigar. If I'm at a playground with a whole bunch of kids, yeah, it's probably not the best place. I don't think it should be regulated. I think as humans and as adults, you should be able to make that decision. Hey, is this the most rational decision to make and smoke my cigar in front of a kid? Personally, I don't think so. I don't think you should do it. So I understand it, but I'm not all for it. I should be able to walk down the street, enjoy my cigar. I shouldn't have someone telling me where and when I can. I should be a responsible adult, and I shouldn't need the government telling me right from wrong. I should know right from wrong. And that's the problem with the whole ban. We rely too much on government to not we. A lot of Americans rely too much on government to tell them what they should and shouldn't do, instead of, knowing the right thing to do and not to do. So, yeah, the ban sucks, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere or change any day soon, and that's too bad. But there is a place for it. I see a place for it. I don't want smoking when I'm eating a steak. So
yeah, see now, and me on the other hand, even when I ate my lunch today, I had a cigar. I'll eat and smoke a cigar at the same time sometimes. It just doesn't bother me. So, but yeah, it still comes down to the fact that the main important aspect of it, I think, is banning it in a cigar shop. It's just ludicrous. I can actually see a point, like you said, Mike, I can see a point for every other place to ban it. But I cannot see any point whatsoever to try to ban smoking in a cigar shop.
Yeah.
Even like at a bar, if you want a bar and you want to be able to have smoking inside that bar, well, if you don't smoke, you don't go to that bar.
Right. I agree.
People, there's a mushy thing in that skull up here. It's called a brain.
Yeah.
It helps if you use it every now and then.
Well, it comes back to people want someone to tell them what to do. I mean, there's people that need to be led, and there's people that lead. And I mean, it's just common sense, But you're right. If you know the bar's smoking, you don't want it around, you don't go in, right? I agree, But well, that's my 2 cents on the whole ban thing. It is what it is, and there's chats going on in the chat room, and they're right. in the chat room too. You know, when we were kids, there was no car seats. There
Yeah.
was the parents smoked in the car. I remember, I remember the commercials with Ronald Reagan and smoking cigarettes, and there was Ted Williams. You know, all these guys were smoking. You know, Babe Ruth smoked cigars. You know, Mickey Mantle smoked and drank. You know, I get it. I get it. Unfortunately, our times are changing so much now that the way we all grew up, you, myself, and the people in the chat room, it's a different era if you look back when our parents were alive. And if you look what's going to happen with our kids, first it's smoking, then it's going to be how much soda you can drink, then it's going to be, with cell phones, you can't talk on the phone, and pretty soon it's going to be, which way you can wipe your ass. Is it forward or backwards? I mean, that's unfortunate. That's the way it's going. And it's the problem is it's our problem as the people who vote these people in. That's where the real problem is. It's just as much our fault as it is these politicians making these decisions, because we're allowing them to make these decisions. So we can get in a whole nother freaking debate over politics. I don't want to do that. Jesus Christ. That's like they say in there now. Back in Little League, someone lost a game. Right now, everybody gets a trophy. It's ridiculous.
It is.
I agree.
Yeah, the chat room went crazy with that one. I figured.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers, Steve. That answers your question. It's probably a debate that you could debate anywhere for a long friggin' time, and it's not that anybody's right or wrong. I mean, I don't know. So. All right, well, our next question comes from Tom, and I don't know if this was Tom in the chat room, because no one gives us their full name, and where they're from anymore. So, but if it's not, then I apologize, Tom. Tom says, do you guys ever feel like saying goodbye with the show?
See ya.
Yeah. I'd be a liar if I didn't sit here and say that it hasn't crossed my mind before.
Yeah.
And when it crosses my mind, it's not, how can I say this? Let's see. It's not that I don't like doing the show. It's the aggravations that come with doing this show, which is part of anything in life. There's aggravations with everything. But, yeah, there's been times I felt like saying, screw it, fuck it, I'm done. Why should I take time away from my family, away from my personal life? But I would say it's out of the 3 years we've been doing this show, I think it's come to my head maybe twice for a very short time. I mean, I could say, I don't foresee it happening. I mean, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing the show with Mike. I enjoy the people in the chat. It's fun. It's nice to all get together and hang out. I really enjoy talking to the guests that we have. We've always had some great guests, a few bungholes, but we've always had great guests. But yeah, it's happened twice probably. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I know with Mike and I talking ever since my move and my internet going to just no internet whatsoever to speak of down where I am now, and having to travel with all this equipment, for the show. Yeah, that gets on me, and there's been a few times I'm like, oh my God. But it's always it's so much fun once we start doing the show. I mean, it's would I enjoy it more if I could still be at my house with everything hooked up all the time? Yeah, definitely. This is a lot of equipment for me to move around, and with my neck and everything else, which could cause problems. But anyway, but no, I mean, I think we've had good shows. I wish the chat room would have grown more than it has. We've talked about that too, but we still get viewers. We all these questions.
We're not going to be that show that's got to give away shit every week just to get chat room up like other people. So, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to be a giveaway site. We just don't. And
exactly. Our loyal viewers come back, and not to cut you off, but that's why we keep doing it.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. But yeah, there's always times, no matter what you're doing, even with the job that you have, there's hardly anybody who can say there hasn't been one time that they said, oh man, I just want to say fuck it all. So, but no, it's I don't see it happening. It's just we just have too much fun doing it. At least I do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But that was a good question, Tom, whoever you were. Again, apparently it wasn't the Tom we might have thought it was, but it wasn't Tom. He's in the chat room. He says it wasn't me. Wasn't
Okay,
me.
well, we'll let you off the hook this time. Oh,
Yes.
John's question.
All right, John G's question. Go ahead, Mike. That's
right.
a long one. And he's going to get a short answer, though. He doesn't know it.
The question is longer than the answer. Now that the deadline has passed for the public sending comments regarding the proposed FDA rules upon the cigar industry, has anyone heard anything regarding a response or a decision time frame from the FDA? Have you guys heard any updates or any other information regarding the situation? No. All right, next question.
That's true. I mean, there's really been no updates. There's been no updates. There's been
no. And what we talked
changed
before the show, as far as I saw last time I looked, I'm not sure if Mike looked it up or not, but the FDA has no time limit on when they can do anything about it. I mean, it could take them a week, it could take them years. And I don't, as far as I know, there is no time constraint on them whatsoever. As Mike's typing and ignoring me.
I'm typing to the questions in the chat room there. But yeah, no, John, yes, and Mike's right. I know we looked it up earlier, but I don't believe there's been any change yet or any progression further towards that rule going into effect, or what modifications, if anything, they're working out. I believe it's still in the same state it was. I know Mike, where he's going live, where we always go live from the tobacco company. The owner
Greg,
there is in. Greg is in with him,
with IPCPR,
and you know, is fighting the fight, and he really knows. So we haven't heard anything, and
yeah, Greg's not here, I don't believe, so I can't even ask him right now. But
yeah, John said, I know you were going to say that.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, with the government. It was more. It wasn't like when they accepted the comments for it. It wasn't comments to say, okay, this is how it's going to be. It was comments to see how far off they were, I think, you know, on what people were expecting from the cigar regulations and everything else that was coming out. So they have to go through all those comments. Well, at least some of them anyway. It's the government, you know. And then they'll have to sit down with people in the industry. They'll sit down with all kinds of different people and try to hash this thing out and try to figure out what can be done if they're going to do anything at all. It could just all totally blow over and nothing of it comes away. You know, it's
right.
But yeah, we'll keep you in the loop if we hear anything. I mean, we'll probably say something.
Yeah, definitely, John, and yeah, we will definitely keep you guys posted if we hear anything. But right now, it's at a stalemate. Nothing's moving. Nothing's going on. So. Wish we could tell you more. Wish we could tell you something better.
It was a good question. It really was a good question to ask. I mean, there's a lot of people that are wondering about the FDA and what they're going to do and everything else, but it's government. It's so slow.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So, all right. Moving right along, we're going to go over to Rick's question. Rick sent in a question, said, do you feel you could reach a better or more of an audience if you did a weekly show? And if so, why don't you?
It's my fault.
Mike's going to take that.
It's my fault. We actually talked about that. And we were talking about doing it, I believe, beginning next year. We were going to start trying to do a weekly show. The problem is I can't do it from the house, so dragging all this equipment every single week is just going to tear my neck up something fierce. If I'm disabled with my neck's fusions, ruptured discs, all kinds of problems in my neck, if you didn't know. Short version. And that's the main reason. If I had good enough internet to do it from the house, we would probably be going to weekly shows. And you know, he asked, do you think you could reach better or more of an audience if you did weekly? Yes. I think if, you know, with a weekly show, everybody knows every single week you're going to be there. You know, with every other week, it's kind of like, you know, you get months of 5 weeks in. Sometimes we're off the air for like 3 weeks, you know, before we're back on. So yeah, we really discussed it. We discussed that in length, and we were really excited about it, and then it's my fault.
Yeah, no, I mean, we agree 100%. It would, even Tom saying in the chat room, it would help statistically. It would keep our name in
Right.
everybody's face more. And I know even after doing the show for 3 years, we still find out every now and then we get new visitors now and then. The problem is it's kind of almost goes back to like the manufacturers. If you don't come out with something new, do people forget about you, right? So if you're not in their faces all the time, but right now we definitely have tossed it around. We definitely know it's something we probably should do. Right now the timing's not right. Maybe once everything gets situated with Mike and time allows for it, we'll do it. We'll definitely do it. I mean, we want to be in your face more. We want you to come over and enjoy what we're doing and have fun with us.
And we have fun, like we said before, we have fun doing the show. So, I mean, for us to do it every week, that wouldn't be a problem at all for me. It's just, like Tom said, the logistics of it with all this equipment having to bring up here, take home, drive an hour from my house just to get here. It's just too much to do right now. Now, if a company would ever decide to come up in our little neck of the woods, a cable company, phone company, whatever, and actually put lines in, I could see us going real quick to weekly.
Yep. So I guess the overall answer is yes, we thought about it. Not right now, but could have happened in the future.
Mike's heroin addiction.
Yes, that's it. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly of the whole thing.
Tom with his heroin addiction here. Mike's heroin addiction. Oh, all right. Number 7. This will be a quick one too, pretty much. Mike asks, "What's purging a cigar mean?"
What's purging a cigar? Well, the first time I will give credit to this person. The first time I ever heard of purging a cigar, I watched a video from Doc Stogie Fresh. Which, speaking of Doc Stogie Fresh, he will be coming on our show soon. We're looking forward to having Doc on. Very, very knowledgeable guy. But I watched a video of Doc talking about purging a cigar. And what it is basically is when, hang on, I'll show you if I can get close to the camera. It's basically when you push the smoke through the cigar, so I'll show you.
Yeah, just blow through the cigar.
So you're just pushing, instead of taking the smoke in your mouth, you're pushing it through the cigar, and it's getting rid of some of that bitterness, maybe, if you have it. Or let's say you were smoking, you had to go to the bathroom, you put your cigar down, you go to the bathroom, you come back, it went out. You need to relight it. So before you relight it, purge, as you're lighting it, blow the smoke out of the cigar. Don't breathe it in. It'll get rid of that bitterness, that nastiness there that you get, the staleness, I guess is probably a better word, that sits on the cigar after it goes out. So purging just basically means blowing the smoke out of the tip of the cigar and out of the foot instead of inhaling the cigar.
Yeah, and people have asked me about this a lot, really. And the easiest way for you to notice if there's a difference or not when you do it is smoke a cigar. Smoke it without purging, halfway, 3/4 of the way, whatever, and then blow through it. And then take another puff, and you'll notice a difference. I mean, it really helps to clear out all that, because you figure the tobacco in a cigar, when you, I'll make sure I'm on the right camera here. When you smoke a cigar, you're pulling all that smoke back through all this tobacco, so everything is collecting, back through. So when you blow it out, it pushes it forward to help get it out of the way.
And one thing I heard that it does, but I don't believe this because it hasn't happened, it's not helping me right now, is it's supposed to help maintain a nice burn on the tobacco, on the wrapper as well. That I don't believe myself personally, but that's what I've heard.
And you do have to, and that's a good point there, Mike. You have to watch, you don't want to blow through it too much or you'll superheat the end of it.
Exactly.
I don't know if I can show you or not here. Let me see. If you saw the cherry on the end of the cigar and it started to glow redder and redder as I was blowing on it, that's going to superheat the cigar at the end. And then you want to wait a little bit until you take a puff because it just gets too hot.
Yeah, like Tom said in the chat room, he does it every few puffs and doesn't even realize it. I think it's just a habit. If you get in the habit, it's a good thing to do. There's nothing wrong with doing it. I think you should do it. It does make a difference. You definitely should do it. But that's all it is. It's simple. It's just you're just blowing through the cigar. That's all. Blowing the smoke out instead of taking it in. Simple as that. And that's what she said. Dun, dun, dun.
And
all right, Mike. Hopefully that answers your question. And who's up? Me?
yeah, I think
gotta
so.
ask. Yeah, me, right? All right. Dale. Dale says, I'm on a tight budget. What inexpensive cigars that you have can you recommend? Well, you're asking. I'm about to ask that to the inexpensive king of all cigars. So take it away,
Now,
Michael.
The only problem I have with this question is you didn't give a dollar amount. And the biggest thing there is where Mike lives in New York, a cigar is going to cost 1.5 times as much as it does down here where I am. And it doesn't matter what it is. Now, if you're talking a real low budget smoke, like $1, $2 a piece, Casa de Garcia. Mild smoke. I actually reviewed them. That is the review. I think it still gets the most hits and the most comments after like 3 years of doing this review of any other cigar I've ever reviewed. They're bundles. Some stores have them like in a 5-pack. Like Perdomo came out with like a pack where you could just, it's humidify, you just take it with you. I think that's Casa de Garcia. I think you can get them the same way. And I know there's a shop down here has the 5-pack for like $10. You know, so you're talking $2 a piece. And they're mild. There's nothing that's going to blow you away in those cigars, but it's a decent smoke. The other ones I can think like Perdomo Fresco. Perdomo Fresco.
Okay.
They're a decent lower cost cigar, along with the Flor de Oliva. You know, but like I said, it's hard to say what you consider inexpensive. You know, some people say an inexpensive cigar is $6.
Yeah, to me, I was thinking something under five or under.
Yeah,
That's
you know, when you go
thinking.
up to the $5 point, I think you got La Traviata comes into play. You know, I can't remember. It's close for like the Oliva Connecticut's. What the Lot 20 Perdomo Lot 23s and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll tell you one cigar that I smoked that was, man, the time I reviewed it on Mike Stogie's, I think it was like under $4, and I really enjoyed it. Was the 5 Vegas Gold Maduro?
Oh, the 5 Vegas, yeah.
The Gold Maduro. It's the only one I like. Oh my God, it was delicious. I really enjoyed it for a very inexpensive cigar, and I think it was under $4 if I recall. And it was really, really good. That's about the only one that I could think off the top of my head that I smoked and thought it was worth trying for an inexpensive
Yeah, there's not
cigar.
many of those lower cost smokes that are going to just blow your socks off. You know, but like I said, that Casa de Garcia is one that even people in the shops and everything else tell me, you know, they smoked, they enjoy it, and it's something on a tight budget that you can afford to smoke a cigar every day.
Right.
That's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, mine too. I mean, that's the only one I could think of. Yeah, Tom said in the chat room, Perdomo has a good middle of the road stuff too. So, I mean, there's a lot. Like you said, he didn't give us a dollar amount, so it's kind of tough to say, you know, what's your budget? Everybody's budget is different.
Right, and like, you know, like Tom said, like Perdomo, I could say like the Perdomo Champagne. You know, I love that cigar. Well, it depends where you are on how much that's going to cost.
Right.
So,
yeah,
you know, hell, you could be in Canada, and then anything under $10 is a budget smoke, probably. You know.
Yeah. If you're in New York, you're screwed, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Move,
Dale. If you live in New York, you're screwed. You're gonna have to up your budget, buddy, or buy in other states. But they're about to tax that too, or they're already doing that, I believe. So, yeah, you're pretty well screwed if you're living in New York, man. So.
All right. Well, I'm gonna skip 9 and go to 10. 9 we're gonna save for last. So I'm gonna skip number 9, and I'm gonna go to 10. We'll do 9 last.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're gonna go to number 10.
Mark wants to know
All right,
Twitter do's and don'ts.
don't get on it. uh,
That's kind of
shit. You know what? Here's my suggestion to anybody who's new to Twitter, going to get on Twitter. Don't get caught up in the bullshit. Don't get caught up in the egos. If you're planning on going on there just to meet people who have interest like you, it's a good place. But remember this: the minute you put an opinion out there and someone doesn't agree with your opinion, be prepared to answer that. Stand by what you feel, but be prepared to have people disagree with you. And just remember, all those people on Twitter don't mean a goddamn thing. That's all I can tell you. Don't get caught up in the whole egotistic bullshit that goes on in the Twitter land, because there's a lot out there. It really is. I'm not on it that much anymore. I do it mostly because there's quite a few manufacturers and people that I've met on there that I like talking to. For the most part, I could deal with not have half of the people on Twitter in my life, because to me Twitter's become like the advertisement for, hey, go here, they're giving away this for free. Go here, they're giving that for free. Watch this, they're giving that for free. And it's just gotten friggin' ridiculous, man. It's not what it used to be about. It's not that way anymore. So for me, I would say just don't get caught up in the whole bunch of bullshit that goes on Twitter, and you'll find out as you're on there after a while.
Oh, yeah.
But that's my
I love to piss people off on Twitter, but it's like you got to take everything with a grain of salt. Tom's the biggest badass on the internet. He'll tell you that anytime you want. But
yeah,
it's
and don't follow me.
But it's just, it's hard to do conversations unless you specifically pick out a person to talk to. It's
right.
so overloaded nowadays with people. When you have thousands of followers and thousands of people that you follow, you're never going to see everything that somebody puts up. Do's and
Right.
don'ts, be honest. Don't bullshit. Just, if you don't like a cigar, yes, you're allowed to say you don't like that cigar. There's nobody saying that you can't. We have freedom of speech here in the United States, and you can say whatever the hell you want.
Exactly.
And if people get on you about it, okay, deal with it. It's like,
Right.
some cigars I can say I absolutely hate, and other people will come out of the woodwork and say they absolutely love them. There's just no right or wrong, and that's what you have to understand. It's like, just because you think one way doesn't mean everybody else in the world is going to think the same way or should think the same way you do. Unless it's me, then everybody should agree with everything I say. So.
Yeah. And I'll just tell you, if you don't like what someone says, unfollow them, block them, and you don't have to listen to their stupidity. I've done it to several people. I have no fucking problem with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, with something like the social media aspect, like you can unfollow, you can block, you can, you don't have to stay with those people if you don't like them.
Yeah. Just remember, it is what it is. It's just a way to talk to people. It's not, go out to a B&M, have a cigar, sit down, meet friends, and talk to people there. You'll have better time than you will on Twitter.
Yeah, no, I know. Now, on the other side of that equation, there are some people that don't have the opportunity to go to a shop. They don't live close or whatever, and the social media aspect is a nice way to get out there, and to do things. But like
Right.
Mike said, just watch out for all the BS. Don't take anything personally.
Yeah. And it's not all bad.
Yeah.
There are good people on Twitter. There's definitely good people. There's good manufacturers. There's definitely good people. I'm not saying it as a whole. I'm just saying, in my experiences of over 3 years being on there, I found it to be more
like a soap opera.
Yes, than anything. So that's my suggestion to you. So. All right, well, we have one more question we're going to get to. And, man, it's been good timing because it's getting there anyway, so it works out even better. The last question I'm looking forward to answering. It's a good question. Dave had a question. He said, if you could blend your own cigar, what would it be? Example, tobacco, region, and the size. So you want to start it?
I've been thinking about this ever since I saw that question. And it's kind of like the region really doesn't have much of a bearing on me. It all depends on what blends are put together, I can smoke cigars from a bunch of different regions that taste good as long as they're put together properly. You could mix a cigar with 7 different regions and it might taste great. So that I'm gonna kind of shy away from. But the wrapper, I love a good Cameroon wrapper. I really, really do. Um,
What was that?
what's that? I
What'd you
said
say?
I really love a Cameroon wrapper. Cameroon is one of my favorite wrappers out there. And if it's done properly, it really gives flavor to the cigar. And the biggest one I can say, or the most prominent one, is the LFD Cameroon cabinet. If you've never smoked one, smoke one. Amazing, amazing cigar with the Cameroon wrapper. Size, that's another one. It depends on the cigar. We talked about this before, Mike and I did, where there are some cigars that I absolutely love in Lancero, Petite Lancero. Excuse me. Other ones I absolutely love in like a 6x60. It all goes by what the cigar is. Now, if I was blending one myself, it would be Cameroon, it would be Toro size, and I'd love to do something different with a binder. That's where I think you can really play around. Where all right, put a Cameroon wrapper on, and then use like a Maduro binder on it. And see what happens. It just sounds like something that would be really good to me. So.
Use a Maduro wrapper. There's no doubt in my mind. I love that wrapper.
San Andreas.
You don't see it on a lot of cigars. Yeah, San Andreas. That would be hands down my wrapper of choice, no second guessing. I would probably use it would probably be a combination between Dominican and Nicaraguan tobacco. It would be, I would definitely like to get higher primings. I definitely would want it to be full flavored, full strength, but complex. To me, it would be a cross, and to me, this is a compliment, not to steal someone's thoughts. To me, it would be a combination between the Epernay and the Headley Grange. If I could combine those two with that San Andreas wrapper, fuck. To me, that you could kill me. I'd be done. That'd be perfection. The size, believe it or not, I'm going to surprise everybody when I say this. It would have to be a Corona. Yeah, it would not be a big ring gauge. It would be a Corona. Would be the first size I would try. I would try to make perfect. But that would be the tobaccos of my choice. That'd be what I would do. Now, if I only had $30,000, I could make my dream a reality. So I don't know if that's
and that's a low ball figure too. Yeah, that's it would be fun to get in there to have a whole bunch of different tobacco to play with. And see what you could come up with. And, being with cigars for so long and being able to talk to manufacturers and other people in the industry, you get a sense of what people are using and what people are doing. And that's like I said, like with the binder, I still think the binder is one of the great ways that you can change a cigar.
Right.
The filler's filler. Sure, you can change it with some filler, especially in bigger ring gauges. But for the smaller ring gauges, it's your wrapper and your binder. And I would love to play with that binder. I really, really would.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe even use like the San Andreas as a binder on the Cameroon. I don't know if it would burn for shit, but it sounds like it would taste pretty damn good.
I'm telling you, man. I love that San Andreas fucker. That wrapper is it's almost as good as sex, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
But yeah, that's it's really a hard question to answer, though, isn't it?
It is. I always had my wrapper down. I always knew if I ever did it, what I wanted for a wrapper. It's always been the same wrapper. It's never changed. But man, there's so many, and not even if you just go out of the realm of Nicaraguan and Dominican. There's still so many other tobaccos we're not even touching base on. and
I
stuff.
looked at
And you see
broadleaf.
people.
Broadleaf.
Oh,
you know.
yeah, broadleaf. I mean, you can go on and go on and on, you know. But I think if I could marry those two cigars and with that wrapper, you got a winner right there, in my opinion.
No, I think I would probably put a little less Nicaraguan filler in mine just to tone down the spiciness of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But other than that, it'd probably be a nice medium cigar, mild to medium. I could even do one with the Connecticut wrapper, for a mild.
Yeah.
Well, we could play, send us a whole ton of tobacco and we'll play.
Yeah.
And a roller. We need a roller too, because I can't roll for shit.
Yeah, you need someone who knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Because neither one of us probably do, right? Yeah. All right. Well, listen, that's it for today. That's it. That's our You Ask It show. We will have another You Ask It.
Oh, wait a minute. Were there any questions in the chat room? Totally forgot.
Yeah, you asked that. I'm going to see what our next show is.
It's been scrolling up the screen here. If you have any questions, let us know right now because we're about done here. So, yeah, Mike, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so our next show, we're going to have another You Ask It show because we were only supposed to have one this month, but because of what happened with Mike, and unfortunately, that's not his fault. No, we hold no hard feelings at all. So now we're going to end up having two You Ask It shows this month. So our next You Ask It show is going to be the 20th. So if you guys got any questions, you want us to answer them, send out your questions to Stogie411 at Stogie411.com, or you can send them to us on Twitter at Hogman21 or at Nightrid or at Stogie411. Get them to us anyway. We'd be happy to give you our honest opinions and we try to answer them the best we can for you guys. So yeah, September 20th, and then we'll be back on schedule with guests again in October, and we'll go from there. But thanks to the guys that join us in the chat room. The chat room was funny today. These guys are going back and forth with stuff that we won't put on air because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But it was.
It's amazing how many Lanceros are popping up that for the ring gauge. But like he says, large ring gauge usually does it, but there's some Lanceros, and John says he doesn't get Lanceros. And it's kind of neat. That's a neat question. Right. Why I noticed that is because I'm doing the Lancero collection from Tatawahe for reviews right now. I'm going through the whole collection.
Right.
And they have been some of the best Lanceros I've ever had. Most Lanceros don't burn for shit. You have to touch them up. You have to relight them, blah, blah, blah. These are amazing on how they do. And that's where I think the big thing with Lanceros comes out, where people have problems, with them not staying lit. You probably had this problem too. I know I have on a lot of them.
Right.
But if you get a Lancero that's done properly, it'll burn just as good as any other size that you smoke.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked the Corona just for the simple fact I really want to taste as much of that San Andreas wrapper as I can. That's why I said Corona. I think it's the perfect size if you're really as in love with that wrapper as much as I am. That's really the size, in my opinion, to have. But that's just my 2 cents. So. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to let you folks go about your Saturday. Thanks again for tuning in and joining us on this another You Ask It show. We'll be back September 20th, same time, same bat channel. So make sure you tune in and send your questions in, and we look forward to hearing from everybody. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and me and the hippie will see you soon.
Had a lot of fun.
Yes.